Hey everybody. So last time I was building this JavaScript file that we can drop into any page that adds tracking code to any links that we want to add tracking codes to. So today we're just going to continue working on that a little bit, and then we'll try to deploy it to we'll try to push it to GitHub, and then hopefully we can get that deployed to a CDN as well. So take a minute to see where we left off. So what we wanted to do is to be able to drop a JavaScript file onto a page and then just make a simple function call that will basically configure this JavaScript and have it run on the page. So on a page like this, we'll have a whitelist of domains that we want to apply a tracking code to for any links that are on the page. So in this example here, the first link is Google. So so the only thing that's in the that we have in the whitelist is docs.microsoft.com. So that should ignore that first link. The second link is from docs.microsoft.com. So that should have we should get the tracking link attached to that one. The third one is also docs.microsoft.com, but it already has a tracking link, so we're expecting the script to skip that. And then the fourth one, also docs.microsoft.com. And in this case, there's a query string on that, so we just want to make sure that the query string still works. But it will also attach what we're expecting is that the query string will stay there, and we'll also attach the referral query string as well. When we wrote the test, when we wrote the script, we tried to do it as test-driven as possible. Although thinking back now, we're probably a little bit less test-driven than I really wanted to have it. We have about 4 tests, so it's a fairly simple script. The first one just says that if there is if there's nothing in the whitelist, or if a link doesn't match the whitelist, it'll just ignore it. And there's a green dot there, meaning that's currently passing. And then the second one says that if the link is in the whitelist, then we're expecting it to attach a referral link there. The third one is that if it's already in the whitelist, and it also has, but it's in the whitelist, but it also already has the existing tracking query string. It has an existing query string. It should have the tracking query string attached to the end as well. And the very last one is if it already has an existing tracking query string, it will ignore it. So all those tests are passing right now. That's great. Oh yeah, and I showed everybody this page a little earlier. So let's see it in action. So here it is right there. And we can see, it's a little bit hard to see. Open up the inspector. So we can see the first one didn't have a link attached, or didn't have the query string attached, which is correct. The next one here, we do have the query string attached, which is great. So the script added that. The third one already had an existing referrer query string, so we're ignoring it. And the last one, it already had a foo equals 123 as a query string there, so it's properly attached the referrer query string to that as well. So the script is working both on a web page and according to our tests. So I think the first thing we're going to do is last time where we left off was that we put, where are we here? Yeah, so we built the script with the help of some tests, and then at the end we actually all the tests were passing, and then we refactored the code a bit to make it slightly cleaner, and it still passes. So that's great. So the actual code for the script looks okay, not too bad. But the test, there's quite a bit of duplication there. So let's see if there's a way to kind of make the test a little bit shorter and easier to read. Let's see. So basically the first 3 lines are always repeated. So we can probably extract that out. So that same 3 lines, it's in every one of the tests. And that's just really to generate a element. So what we can do is actually we can create a global called document. And actually, I wonder if that's going to work. Let's see. It'll probably work. We'll take that all out. Let's do that for the first one. And we see the tests are still passing, so we still got a green dot there. So we can safely remove these lines there, these lines there, and these lines here. We save it. You can see the test is still passing, which is great. So the tests are slightly simplified. Let's see if we really want to simplify the configuration. I think it's probably okay to leave the configuration as is. It is the same thing in every single test. But the data is actually useful here, whereas these couple lines of codes that we kind of pulled out, they didn't really do anything in terms of explaining what the test does. So I think the tests are doing okay right now. We'll probably do a little bit more, but I think we're good there. So let's just refresh the page to make sure that it's still working. It should still be working because it's, well, because the test says that is working. And yep, sure enough, it's still working. So that's good. Now what we're going to do is, I think this is pretty much ready. So what we're going to do is we will now basically pre-configure it with all the domains that we want to apply the refer tags to, the refer query strings to. I happen to have that list right here that I would like to have the query strings applied to. So one thing we can do is actually just more or less shove it all into an array, and that should still work. That should work. But there's a lot of things here that's telling me that maybe everything that ends with Microsoft.com, I really should just be adding the refer link to, or the refer query string to anyway. And maybe visualstudio.com as well. So maybe one thing that we should add is perhaps we should support regular expressions, perhaps, in this array that we pass in. So right now what we're passing in is that we're passing in docs.microsoft.com. But perhaps what we want to do is actually pass in a regular expression. And it's really, we can say anything.microsoft.com. And that's still, and that'll really simplify what we want to do here, because we can only have, we can just have one entry for everything that's start@microsoft.com. I think we still want to support strings. So for instance, this one right here, microsoftevents.com. So perhaps we want to do something like this. So we have a mix of strings and regular expressions. Hopefully that works. I actually don't know if it does. So actually, let's test that out. Hop over to the browser. And then we'll get into the console. Just have the console itself. So we're just gonna create a really quick variable, foo equals, that'll do. So foo is a regular expression, right? So let's see what the type of foo is, because we want to basically check for that when we process each item in that array. So if it's regular expression, we'll do one thing. If it's a string, we'll do another. So we'll see type of foo. Ooh, it's just an object. Well, it's time to Google. JavaScript, check if object is regex. So we can use the instance of operator, it looks like. Ah, okay. So the reason that I can't check using type of is that it's not a primitive data type. So it's always going to return an object. So that's fairly simple. We'll just check to see if, we'll check it using instance of. So we'll go foo dot, is that how you do it? No, it's foo space instance of regex, or regular expression. And that's true. And let's just check to see that this is false. So that's good. So next thing we want to do is make sure that we have that instance of works on pretty much all browsers that we want to support. So can I use instance of? And let's scroll to that table. Yes, looks like we can use that anywhere we want. That's perfect. So let's write that code. And before we write that code, we want to actually write the test first. So that's fairly simple. So what we want to do is basically take this test. A link that matches a regular expression, a regex, in the whitelist. Should have refer query string attached. And so what we're going to do is we'll switch this to a regex. We'll go dot star. Then we're going to make sure that we escape the dots. And that should be good. But when we save it, that should fail. But it doesn't fail. So that's a little confusing. Why is that? Still passes. Oh, right. Because I didn't change enough of the test. So when writing tests, you really should, or when you're just blindly copy and pasting, that's probably not a bad idea. That's probably not a good idea. So we want it to be foo, and then it's going to be wt.mc underscore id equals foo bar and my name. So now that should fail. Come on. And it does. Right, good. And that's because we have no code that, that will run that regular expression. So now let's make this test pass. That's pretty easy to do, hopefully. Yep, so it's right here. So right now we're just checking if it's an exact match, whether it's equal to the host name. So we need to be a little bit smarter than that now. So we'll change that to an array, or sorry, to a function. So what we want to do is we want to check if the domain is an instance of a regular expression. And if it is, we will return the, so right now that's a regular expression. So and the cool thing is this thing is actually using the TypeScript compiler behind the scenes, or the TypeScript language services behind the scenes. So because I checked whether or not this thing is a regular expression, it actually knows that D, in order for us to get in here, can only be a regular expression. So I'm prompted with all these things that are properties of regular expressions. So that's pretty cool. So we're just gonna test it. And we'll test it against the link.hostname. Otherwise, we will do what we did before. And here, just for fun, we'll dot into the D, and you can see that the D here, it knows that it cannot be a regular expression. Right? Whereas up here, if I dot into that, it knows that it's a regular expression. We can actually go, let's just try it out to see how smart this thing is. So we can also try to see if it's a type of D, type of, if it's a string. Now what does it think? Yeah, so now it actually knows that D, in order to be in here, can only be a string. So we're prompted with only methods and properties for strings, which is pretty cool. But we won't even bother checking for that. So now what we're going to do is just going to save it. What I'm hoping for is that the test will pass, and it does. So, and all these other tests pass as well. So that tells me I didn't break anything that I did earlier, which is great. So we might want to do one more thing, and that is to check for whether or not something is case insensitive, or basically use a case insensitive check. I actually don't know how to do that in JavaScript. The way that I would do it in JavaScript is actually to lowercase everything and then compare them, which I'm not sure that's the right thing to do. So let's check. So JavaScript string comparison case insensitive. Let's see what Stack Overflow says. So the one with the highest score looks like it's telling us to convert them to lowercase or to uppercase and compare them, which is a little bit sad, but nobody's really saying anything too bad about it. It says as long as you're not worried about Unicode characters. So yeah, I think we're good. So I think we can do that. So let's make ourselves write that piece of code by writing a test. And what I want this test to do is let's check both the strings and regular expressions at once. Let's see if we can do that. Actually, no, maybe not. That might make it harder to write. Okay, so case insensitive string let's see. So what's the name of our test? Link should match even if case doesn't match. Again, very bad test name, but we can fix that later. Come on. So we're going to create the element, and instead of Microsoft.com, we'll go Microsoft.com. So the first one we're going to do is we'll do it for a string first, docs.microsoft.com. And so that should have it attached, and this thing should still be a capital. So if I save that, that should fail, I would hope, and it does. So let's make our code pass that test. So it's fairly straightforward. So probably what we want to do is we will check whether or not it's a string. Type of D is a string. But now what we can do is we can go to lowercase. And we'll also to lowercase this thing too. So that should work. Let's save it. And it still fails. What is this upset about? Let's take a look. Oh, interesting. So this problem is actually introduced by this library that we're using, JSDOM, I believe. Let's just do a console log here. We'll console log a.hostname. I think even at this point, before we do anything to it, it's already converted to lowercase. It's fascinating. So why didn't that just pass to begin with? That's really weird. So let's print a.href as well. There it goes. And we can see that the library itself already converted it to lowercase. So maybe we didn't really have to do that anyway. Let's see what it really does in the browser. So for a equals document.create element a, and then a.href equals https://www.microsoft.com. And then we're going to go print out a.href. And it already lowercases it. It's very interesting. And let's confirm that the host name is also lowercase. Nice. So we actually didn't have to do any of this work. Although the weird thing is, why did my test not pass the first time? Oh, right. It was all because my check was here. So if I had just done this, that would have just worked. So maybe I didn't need to write this code at all then, which is great. Make that go away. Simplify this a little bit again. Actually, all this stuff can stay. Yeah, that's fine. Well, technically, I probably should rip it out because I don't have a test now that tells me that I need to write this code. I'll take those out, save it. The test still pass. That's good. All right, so I think we're in pretty good shape. I think we should just more or less just ship it. Do that. So, so another thing that we don't want to do here, actually, you know what? Let's run this HTML page to make sure that that's still sort of working. There's no red. We'll inspect the elements. And they seem to have the query strings attached. Everything's still working, which is great. So right now our code requires us to pass in these domains. And what I really want to do is just have these defaulted. So what we can do to default it is just more or less create an array here. Default domains. And we'll put in our domains. So we want to start on Microsoft.com basically. So that will do with the regex. So with .star, Microsoft, I can spell .com. And we actually want that to be the very end. In case we have something that starts with Microsoft.com, this will still match. So the end of a string is a $sign in a regex. And we'll even throw in an I there, so that we do a case insensitive match. Although we should be doing I should be doing that anyway. So actually, let's take that out. We don't need that. So the next thing we're going to do is, I think msdn.com, we can do a wildcard on that as well. Let's go msdn.com. And then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, visualstudio.com. I think that's also one that we should just default in. Visual Studio. And then the last one is, that's not really in any of these lists, is www.microsoftevents.com. Take that. Do that. We can probably just go. Well, actually, there's one thing that that we didn't check for, and that is if it's just Microsoft.com without anything in front of it, so without a subdomain. Right now, that this won't match. We probably should just make that match. So we're going to say, would that work? No, we actually have to be a little bit smarter about that. So we're saying that we can have anything before it, followed by a dot, or just Microsoft.com itself. Same thing here, here. Like that. Oh, and I forgot the question mark here. So that should work. So now what I want to do is, if there's already an array passed in, so go input domains equals config.domains. And really, I think we're getting to the point now where we probably should write tests for this as well, but it's all right. In the interest of time, we'll just not do that. What we're going to do is if let's call it domains. So if so the type of domains, actually just make sure that there is domains in case it's null or undefined, is an array. Let's confirm what the type of an array is. So the type of an array, that's an object too. JavaScript is weird. JavaScript check for array. I can go array.isArray. That's cool. Yeah, it supports back to IE9, so I think we're in good shape there. I don't think we cared about anything before that. And this thing here is the polyfill for it, which isn't that bad, but we'll just take the easy way, which is array.isArray. Back to our code. Array.isArray, domains. So if it's an array, then what we're going to do is we're going to go domain. And how do you concatenate arrays? JavaScript, concat arrays. And I can't spell. That's okay. So array, concat the other array that returns in the array with both arrays in it. Perfect. So what we're gonna do is we'll make this mutable. We use let. Actually, what browsers support let? Can I use let? So let is supported in basically, only in IE11. That's no good. What about const? Also IE11. Wow. So we got to figure out if we want to support IE10 and before. We have to change our consts and our lets to vars. That's disappointing. All right, so let's do a var there. Making me sad. So now let's go domains equals domains dot concat. And we'll make that, we'll concat it with the default domains. Like that. Otherwise, we'll just go domains equals default domains. And we'll call that a day. So if we pass something in and it's an array, then it's going to try to concatenate the two together. Otherwise, we're just going to use the default domains. So now what we're going to do is config.domains equals domains. That should still be good. So while I'm here, let's we sure that IE 10 and before don't support const? Const is recognized, but not, which is this? All right, var all the things. I got 2 more of these. Find it. These 2. All right, that should work a little bit better, which also means that this particular piece of code here with the interpolation, that's no good in earlier versions of IE as well. Can I use JavaScript string interpolation? Template literals, and those are probably something like, wow, no IE support. Yikes. Okay then. Let's not use that. So we're gonna have to switch all these things out. So thankfully we have tests, so this should be fairly easy to do and not a lot of risk. So that's good. Delete that. Delete that. Concatenate with this. And we will delete that. Delete that. So that's actually quite short, so let's just put it on one line for now. We'll save it. Hopefully the test still pass, and it does. It's good. So I think now with stuff that should run in IE, who knows what, and later. Kind of makes me sad, but it's okay. All right. That looks pretty good. We can sort of ship it now. Let's just make sure that this works by removing this stuff right here. We'll just set it to null. Save it. What we're gonna do is we'll reload this page. So all this stuff should still work. Oh shoot. Inspect. So we can see that this is working. Those links are still working, so that's good. Or we're still attaching the proper links on it, which is great. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is, I think we can more or less just ship it. I think what I wanna do is make sure that this still works. So basically passing in an empty array to it. And again, we'll inspect that. And yeah, that's working. And then we will, so here, when we look at the Google one, that one is not getting the query string attached. Let's say we did care about Google, google.com. Now we save it. So now what we should see is that the Google one has it attached, and so do these other ones. Things are still working properly. So I think our script works. All right, it's pretty good. So let's tidy things up and ship it. So this looks okay. This looks okay. This is the main script. That looks not too bad. The tests themselves. This actually runs in Node, so we can do all sorts of stuff here, like require and all that stuff. That all works, which is great. Or I think it runs in Node. Well, it runs in something better than the JavaScript engine from IE. All right, that's still pretty good. I think I can probably fix the names of the tests, but that's fine. Then the README needs to be a little bit better. So actually we just take this whole thing out and we'll call this CDA link tracker. For now, we'll add some stuff to it later. The main thing right now is that I want to make sure that we have all the files in a happy place so we can check it in. So it's good. So let's see. I think this is the initial commit. I probably should have committed the whole way through, but I didn't. Bad boy. All right. That's good. So let's push this to GitHub. I already have my little GitHub account here. This will be my 101st repo, it looks like. Oh, actually, there is something I want to change first. I'm a little bit picky about naming of files. Right now, this thing doesn't actually match the name in here. The casing doesn't match, so I can either put a dash there, just fix this thing. Oh, and then another thing is that I have a lot of stuff exposed to the window right now as a global, when all I really wanted was just this thing as a global. I think that's fine for now. How would I fix this? Let's see. I can stick this whole thing in an iffy. And that should basically put everything in. Yeah, let's do that. So let's stick this thing in an iffy. Just like that. And then we'll just take all this code and move it up in there. So looks pretty happy. Now when I save it, the test still pass, which is great. And now I have to expose the main thing to the window. So if type of window is not undefined, then I want window.cda tracker equals CDA tracker. It's good. And hopefully, and looks like Jest just died. That is not good. So we'll stop the runner. Oops. Start it again. And are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Yeah, we're good. We're still passing. That's good. And then what we're going to do is make sure that in our browser, this thing still works. And we can see, yep, that's still working. Good. All right, so I'm a lot happier with that now. And what this means is that we shouldn't have anything else leaking in there. So things like is already tracked. It used to be global, now it's not. Right? Good. So, okay, things are even better now, which is great. So the only other thing that I want to do is the name of the file. I'll put a dash in it, just because I think the repo is going to have a dash in its name. And then I think the tests are going to break. Because we're going to require the right things now. So the require has to be fixed. And the test pass again, so that's good. So the other thing I'm going to change is that in the sample, the file, well, let's just check, right? So now it's going to basically just explode. Yeah, so that's not there. But if I put a dash and save, so I put a dash right there, the name. And now that's good. And we still have the script behaving properly. I think we're good. So test pass. That's done. So let's push it. So just remove stuff from global scope and rename script. All right, so let's push that. So we'll call this CDA tracker. Create a repo. And we'll just take this, go in here. I am in the right place. Paste that in. And it's successfully pushed. So if I refresh it, there's my code. Everything's good. So one thing I should probably add is maybe a license file. And I'll choose a license template and will be MIT. Sure. Sounds great. So I will commit the new file directly to master. And I'll pull that in. Yeah, sure. All right, so now the license is here. Everything's good. So let's just end this by putting this on a CDN. So I did a little bit of research. And there's this thing called jsdelivr that can turn, oh no, maybe I can't trust this CDN. Giving me a 502. Well, that's really bad. Let's just copy that. Is it down or just me? Is it down for everyone but just me or just me? So let's paste that in. It's just me. JSDeliver is up. Really? Well, not what I saw. Let's see if we can go deeper. Nope, none of that's working for me right now. All right, so the main site doesn't work. So maybe it's not that trustworthy of a CDN, but let's see. If I can get the instructions. Let's see if I've done this before. jsdeliver.com. How to... I just need the instructions. Hopefully we can just use the Google Cache. No. Okay, nothing's working for me. That's horrible. I'm not sure if there's anyone in the chat, but would love to see if you can hit jsdelivr.com. But without that, what can I do? How to use jsdelivr? Scroll around a little bit here. Okay, cdn.jsdelivr.net. Okay, so the first thing I got to do is I have to create a release for this project or for this repo. I have 0 releases, so we'll cut the first release and we'll call it 0.1.0. Not bad. And we'll just target master. That's good. This is the initial release. And we don't need to upload any binaries. And this is a pre-release. We'll publish it. And there we go. So what we should be able to do is hit up jsdelivr.net, and we'll stick HTTPS in front of it. And I think the format is something like GitHub, GH, slash my name, slash the repo name, CDA tracker, and then at the release number, and then the path to the file. So it's source/cda tracker.js. What I'm hoping to see is that the file gets served back, and it is. So, so that's cached in the CDN right now, without me doing really any kind of work, which is pretty cool. I believe jsdelivr can also do stuff like this. So right now we have the major, minor, and the patch. We can also remove the patch. So if all we care about is basically the 0.1 minor version, and just get the latest of that. JSDeliver figures that out, and we'll serve that as well. And we can probably even do latest, I think. Yep, so latest works. I wonder what happens if I remove the thing altogether, the release altogether. Well, that still kind of works. So I think that just more or less fetches the latest. So, so what I want to do is basically, so I have this script right here. I can actually go and update my blog right now if I'm brave and see whether or not we can make that show up or make that work. So once again, let's find a page, docs.microsoft.com. So we have a page, maybe this one. There's an MSDN link right here, which is great. Let's see if there's more stuff. This one's Docker Hub, so this should not get changed. And is there a docs? I actually don't have a docs one, but that's cool. So on this page, there's at least one link that should not be changed. And there's one link here that should now have the referrer code attached. And that's this one, because the domain is msdn.microsoft.com, as I can see in tiny text at the bottom. So let's do that. And even the stuff on the side here, right? There's one right here that's developer.microsoft.com. That should get changed. None of these should get changed. All right, so my blog, it's written using Jekyll. So I actually have to go find the right file. So let's see where I want to stick this. See how many end body tags are there. There's probably gazillions. I was only 4. That doesn't make any sense to me either. But this one makes sense. We have the default file. This is the default layout of the page. You can see I put a lot of stuff there already. I got some Google Analytics stuff. Got some other stuff here. So let's stick that at the end beyond that. So first thing I want to do is bring in that script itself. And we'll kind of just do it schemeless. So remove HTTPS from it. So I'll just serve, it will just use the scheme that that the page is served off of, and I think my site is pinned to HTTPS anyway. And we'll drop in that script, and instead of typing it myself, I will just copy and paste from here. Paste that in. And we actually won't supply the domains. So let's give an empty list right there. That should be fine. I actually don't know what campaign to use. Maybe I'll just use Anthony Chu CA. I'm not sure if that's a valid campaign. Or I can use Azure maybe. That doesn't make any sense either. Should really find out what to put there. I think right now let's put Azure. And the medium's my blog. Alias is Anthony Chu. So let's run it locally first. We're in the right place. So we're going to go Jekyll serve. And that should fire up the site. And I should be able to hit it at, I think, localhost 4000. And there it is. So there is a link here. If we inspect it, we can see that the tracking link has been added, which is great. But if we check the one before that, no tracking link, because that's a Stack Overflow. And as we scroll down, I think there was this particular one is an MSDN one. So we'll inspect that. And again, we have the tracking link properly appended, which is great. And let's check the other one just to make sure. This one goes to Docker Hub, which does not have anything attached to the end. So it looks like the script is behaving properly. There are no errors. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's see what happens if we just go Jekyll build. And we'll push that up to the cloud. And then we'll just wait and see. Oh, I should just go back to that page right here. So right now, we inspect it. Nothing added, but if we refresh the page, now we can see that that link has been added, or the referral has been added. And this is my live site, so anyone who's there right now can go to anthonychu.ca and check it out. And if I actually click on that link there, it kind of flashed and it went away. So one way we can see that is if we open up the network tab and we say preserve log, and we will click that again. So we click that link, and we only want to see the documents. So you can see that it actually made the request. And what happened was, I believe there's probably some JavaScript on the page that stripped that off the end. So so the page, so that got removed at the end. there wasn't a redirect or anything. It was a 200. So that's pretty cool. And there's some kind of errors here, but they're not mine, so that's fine. Cool. So I'm pretty happy with that. Today, what we did was we basically finished up that script that we were writing that appends the referral links or the referral query strings at the end of links that we want to append them to. We pushed it to GitHub, and then we used jsdelivr as our CDN to basically serve out the file. And then I updated my own personal blog to use it, and it seems to work. So I think this is a pretty good place to stop. Thanks so much for stopping by. See you next time.